I consider there to be 4 levels of improvisation. And I think a lot of people get stuck on level 1, which is playing one scale of the entire chord progression. So just a blanket approach, which there's nothing wrong with that. In a lot of situations, that's going to be, perfectly fine. But to get to level 2 is this ability to identify when the key center has moved in the music and changing what you're doing, changing what scale you're playing to match the new key. Level 3 would be knowing your different key centers, but also knowing the scale degree of the chord you're playing on. So whether that's the 2 chord or the 5 chord or a subdominant chord, and playing the corresponding mode or scale that goes with that chord. Now, level 4 would be being able to do all that, but then also incorporate chord substitutions into your playing, into the solo as well, and playing over those. So let's get into this lesson today, and it's going to be about trying to get from that bass level, so just using one scale, up to this level of using different scales over different keys in the chord progression. So let's have a look at the chord progression first. It's A flat major, B flat major, C major. Right? Now the A flat and the B flat, they're both derived from the key of C minor, right? But the C major chord is obviously not from C minor, it's from the key of C major. So the first 2 bars, the key we're in is C minor. The next 2 bars, the key we're in is C major. So we're going to have to change what we're doing. If we just kept playing C minor over the whole thing, it's going to, once we get to the C major key, it's going to sound off. So let's have a crack at this. We're going to play just pentatonics to keep it simple. So over the A flat major, C minor pentatonic, so then B flat, C minor pentatonic, and then to C major. C major pentatonic, right? So a little trick you can use is if you're playing out of this C minor pentatonic box, well, once you get to the C major, if you move that down 3 frets, you get to, which becomes a C major pentatonic shape. You might think it's A minor, but the A minor is the relative minor of C major, so they both work. They're essentially the same scale. So that's a good little trick. You can be playing. So you can change between those 2 shapes. So that's the musical, the theory of it. And with all things related to theory, there's the theory, but then there's also the sort of way you can use it in practice that makes it more musical. So instead of just playing kind of like random licks on C minor and then random licks on C major, just like going from one to the other without much thought, what we're going to do is when people talk about playing the changes, we're actually going to try and target the note that really identifies the change in the key. Now, this chord progression is a great example because it goes from C minor to C major. That change is really obvious. We're going from the minor third, so of the C minor, to the major third. So we want to target that major third once that change happens, once we get to the C major. And a great way to do that is to target it from a semitone above. So from, it's going to resolve really nicely into it. And it uses some nice voice leading as well. So it's going to sound like this. hear that change? Now what that's doing, this sort of playing the changes, if you can imagine, we've got the two keys, think of it like two bits of wood sort of floating, floating on water or something. If we just put them together, they're going to still be wobbly, but if we try and create, like put some glue between them, they're actually going to be nice and steady and stick together, create a solid joint, which is what we want to do. We want to sort of thread those two keys together. And this voice leading, or this target note, is a great way to do that. So I'll leave a link to the backing track in the description. Have a play over that. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's so good for just flicking on this switch of having the ability to move between different scales mid-solo. Really cool stuff. So check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.